Good day, one and all. My name is Kathy, and welcome to this episode of the Scrap and Crafty Gardener. Today, I'm going to be making a Thanksgiving card, as this is Holiday Wednesday. And I'm going to be using some fall colors, and I'm going to be doing some stenciling, um, some embossing with Lunar paste, and some heat embossing. Shouldn't be too involved, but it will take some time. All right, my card today, I picked out some fall colors. And you can use any fall colors that you like. I've got GinaK's Honey Mustard. This is 10 inches by 7 inches. I scored a 5-inch line, folded it, creased it with my bone folder. And then I used GinaK's Master Layouts 8. This piece is 6.5 by 4.5, and I've already cut out the center square. And then the stitch die, which is going to go on top of that. This measures 4 3/8 or 6 3/8 by 4 3/8, and this is a cream or an ivory or an off-white. And then I have a piece of the same cream for on the inside of the card. This measures 6 3/4 by 4 3/4, and that'll just go on the inside. And then I have 2 layers. Well, I thought I had a second layer here. There it is. I have the same brown that I cut out of the center here. I used GinaK Master Layouts 3 for this, but this square measures 3 7/8 inch, and then this ivory square will go on top. This measures at 3 3/4. And then I just have 2 strips of paper that were left over from cutting out my cardstock. This is a piece of the honey mustard. This is 1.5 inch, and I'm making it 6.5 inches. And then this is a piece of the cream. I went down to 1 1/4 inch, and I'll just cut this to fit the end. All right, I'm going to start with what's going to take the longest to dry, and I'm going to use my embossing mat from Waffle Flower. This is a small 6-inch one. And I'm going to emboss on this small inner square. And my sister-in-law found these fall leaf dies. She got them at a flea market, I believe it, in Ohio. And there's no company name on them. I'm going to put this, so they kind of have leaves everywhere on here. And I'm going to use 3 colors of GinaK inks. I'm going to start with Prickly Pear. And I have a piece of scrap paper here. All right, and I'm just going to go lightly and color them all in with the Prickly Pear, but just a light layer of Prickly Pear. And I think these colors will go nicely together. I'm hoping. All right. Now I'm going to come in with the same color that the cardstock is, Honey Mustard. And this is more of a brownish yellow. And I want to get this along the edges, kind of not in the middle of the flowers, flowers of the leaves, just kind of like the edges are tipped a little in a different shade of brown. This just gives a little bit more depth to it. And see how that's looking. Oh, that's looking good. All right. Now I'm going to come in with warm cocoa just to add a little bit more brown undertone, since I do have brown on the cardstock. And I'm just going to, I'm patting it down. I'm not really blending. I'm just more tap, 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 tapping. So it's looking like a mottled leaf. So you will see the bristle strokes there. And let me show you how that looks up close. I just kind of tapped, so it makes it look like the leaf is actually changing color. You could do a smoothing if you wanted to. I just like the look of the tap. And I'll set this aside because I'm going to wash that off in just a moment. Because now I'm going to take the outer layer of this and get this lined up as best as I can on these leaves. Getting this second layer on is a little bit more difficult for me. Lining everything up just so. You get one leaf lined up and then the other leaves aren't quite so lined up. All right, now is when I'm going to use Simon Hurley's Lunar paste. The color on this is Slippery When Wet. And I'm just going to use a spatula, pull some of this out, and just go across, fill in. And it's okay if I'm getting it on my grip mat because I'm going to wash this all off as soon as I'm done here. Now on this particular stencil, it has some areas that are loose. It's a very delicate stencil, so I'm trying not to lift up the edge of the stencil at all. And I'm just going to smooth it out. Now I'm going to lift this up. And set this aside. And I'm going to put this on pause while I go wash this off. Okay, I'm back. I'm going to put the cap back on this. And then I want to show you this. This is going to take a while to dry. But look at the gloss and the shine on that. Okay, I'm going to set this way up here at the top. Now, the next thing I need to do is stamp my sentiment. I'm going to glue the inside of my card in. And let's get as much done as I can here. The longest part of this card will be waiting for the Lunar paste to dry. And, oh, I must have had a little, yeah, I got a little bit of Lunar paste on my finger here. And I got a little bit on here. Let me see if my adhesive eraser will take that off. Yes, it does. Okay. Okay. All right. Now, this is going to go on the center of this card, so I'm going to glue that down. I'll glue this down first because I have such a big hole cut out of the center. If I did what I normally did and put the next layer on top of it, I'd be getting glue everywhere, more than I do so normally. All right, got that down. Now this piece is going to go down next, and I'm not really doing anything to this piece. This is just serving as a background. Okay. Make sure that's nice and straight. Now these two pieces are going to go next. And I need to trim this one just a little bit more. I don't want it to be over the brown, but I don't want it to be having brown showing either. And one more little sliver off. When you cut paper sizes on two different cutting mats, it makes it a little bit, they're not always the same measurements, honestly. So now this piece is going to go in the center of here, and I'll cut it even as best as I can. And this is what I'm going to stamp my sentiment on. But I'm going to stamp and emboss. So the first thing I want to do, I'm going to use, this is from GinaK Designs Doodled Autumn. I'm going to stamp the word happy and stamp this Thanksgiving in embossing ink. So I'm going to use my Swiffer dust cloth just to clean off the paper. And I'm going to put down the word Thanksgiving first. because I'm going to emboss that first. And I don't want to chance the other color getting embossed. So I'm going to use Versamark watermark stamp pad for this. And that looks good. I don't know if you can see the words. Let's see. I think you can see it lightly there. I'm just going to clean off this stamp, but my tidy towel is still in the wash. So I'm just going to clean that off with a wet rag. And now I'm going to use a piece of scrap paper. And I'm going to use Wow embossing powder. This is metallic gold rich, super fine. And I'm just going to sprinkle that right over there. And then kind of tap off. And I've got a little brush over here if I can locate it. I use the Swiffer, but sometimes the embossing particles get where you really don't want to have them embossed out later. So just brush them off with a little bit of a fine brush. And I think there's a couple more over here. All right, and that looks pretty good. So before I chance getting this embossing powder all over the place, I'm going to put it back in the jar. And I have my Darice heat tool. I'm going to turn that on. Let it warm up for just a moment. It doesn't take very long for this tool to warm up. Pardon me. And I'm just lightly, it's still not quite warm, so I'm going over the front and the back. And there it's warming up. I love to watch how this goes. And it goes so quickly once it's warm enough. And that's done. And that's how that turned out. Now I'm going to stamp again. And I'm going to use the word happy from this stamp set. And I want to put it just above the word Thanksgiving, over here in the corner. And for that, I am going to use VersaFine Clair in the color Acorn, which is a reddish brown. And that's good. Doesn't need any more than that. I could have done that in black, but I wanted to, the colors are kind of fall, and this acorn is a nice fall color. And again, those are from GinaK's Doodled Autumn. This is how I do my arranging. I take the sentiments out and put like sentiments together, like my Thanksgiving sentiments go together. And these have die cuts, so any die cut goes in the same envelope. Okay, now done with the stamping. Now I can glue these two pieces together. And I'm lining up end to end and then just trying to make the top and bottom look fairly straight. Okay. Now this is going to go right across the bottom here, and this is going to go on the card flat. Okay, now the next layer is going to be popped up, and I'm going to use foam dots. Not foam dots, I'm using the foam tape strip. And I must admit, this is not the first one of these that I have made today. I made one on a video, and for some reason, I lost it. I lost the volume. I lost half of the technology, etc. So I'll show you the first one as soon as I'm done here. And that Thanksgiving is a little bit longer than I would have liked. So what I'm going to do is shift this over, which I did not do on the first one. I want to shift it over so it's sticking out. So that's going to be a change from the first one. Now, this goes on next, but it is not dry yet. So I'm just going to set that on there. That'll be glued down flat, centered on here. And I'm going to put some embellishments on. And I've got some gold stars. I'm going with several different colors of gold today. I have the slippery when wet gold. I've got this embossed gold. And then this makes for a third different color of gold. And they look kind of cool together. Now, I'm going to use some smaller ones than I did on the first card. And I'm going to put 4. Well, if I can get that. And then just a little one here. And that would be how this card looks. I'm going to lift it up. That's the second one. And now this is the first one. It's a little bit drier, and I went with different colors with this one because I used a different sentiment here. Give thanks with a grateful heart. And I put 3 here. But I added the ivory strip to this one. And did the coloring a little bit different on here. Instead of going all over it, kind of like a stipple, how I did the warm cocoa, I used a small brush and just did warm cocoa on the ends of the leaves. And I think I'm liking the second one better. When these are both dry, I will take a picture of both of them for you to put on the page. That's my card for today. Thank you so much for watching. Get your stuff out and play. It's fun. And so you film one and it doesn't turn out, well, just do it again and change it up a little bit. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. And I'm hoping you all are staying safe and warm. I know a lot of people out west had that winter cyclone go through. And I hope that you all are fine. Have a great day.